Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Fantasy Suite tonight, part 2. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, host of Bachelorette Nation News. Gabby says, I knew it was too good to be true. Doesn't that sound like a boy band song? I knew it was too good to be true. And then or like maybe a country song. Boy bands and country are closer than you'd think. Can it be real? Baby, can it be true? Fantasy Suite, I'm gonna bang one with you. I don't know. All right, follow me on Instagram at DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal. I told you, if you get me to 300 Patreon members, today, I'll do a pre-episode live stream. We're not there yet. We're at 296. I need 4 people. Can we find 4 people that will join the Patreon? You can join monthly, cancel anytime, as little as $5 a month, that want to join, and then we'll do a pre-episode live stream. Otherwise, hey, you're just going to have to chat amongst yourself. All right, let's get into this story. Of course, we've been promoting today's Teacher of the Day. Link in the comment section below if you want to get some colored pencils for our teacher, some 82-piece animal toy kit. By the way, can you give these animal toys to kindergartners? Aren't they going to be eating these? Last thing I need is little Timmy, crapping out a Rottweiler, plastic. What's this in the toy? Okay, anyway, you get the point. Comment section below. You can click on the link and donate to our Teachers of the Day. So let's get into it. We had the first of the Fantasy Suite episodes last night, and now we're going to finish it up tonight. Then after I share these 2 or 3 clips with you, I'm going to have a quick discussion about how Gabby and Rachel have differed from Clayton. A lot of people are saying, oh my gosh, they're super hypocritical. They blasted him for this, and now they're doing that. And it's like, well, it's a little more complicated to that, but I'll read some of your comments. We'll get into it. Let's go to Jesse.
Tonight, the Bachelorette event continues.
I knew it was too good to be true.
Which fantasy suite
I'm so close to an engagement.
will turn sour?
Gabby will not be joining you.
The Bachelorette two-night event continues tonight on ABC and stream on Hulu.
See, I can do that. The Bachelorette 2-night episode continues tonight, streaming on Hulu. I feel like, okay. Jesse says Gabby will not be joining you, and they make it seem like Gabby's quitting the show. I'm sure it's just that she's gonna shoot her own. I mean, what are they gonna do? They're not gonna be doing dual fantasy suites together. Although I tell you, if you really only cared about ratings, a joint fantasy suite would have been amazing. Right? They just had some Airbnb somewhere. They've got one of those jumbo heart-shaped jacuzzis, and they're like, all right, should you choose to forgo your, whatever. And then they're just in there, some Groupon. This episode of Fantasy Suites brought to you by Groupon and Lysol. You know what I mean? For disinfecting the countertops when you're done with them. All right. Don't get any, okay, anyway, I'm going to be careful here. Don't want to get demonetized. Next is trailer tonight.
So much has happened this week, but it's just like crazy.
This whole process, I've kind of misjudged from the start.
So I hope we're on the same page.
I think we are.
Okay.
I'm nervous, I'm stressed out. I have no idea how she's gonna react.
I just see her as like my future, and if she doesn't see that back, that would be pretty like soul crushing.
There's other relationships, being formed here. That's not a fun and easy thought.
Now more than ever, I'm scared that I could leave here alone.
Coming up tonight. By the way, terrible music. But I love that. I'm curious, right? How come they've got to blur out their butts, but they're okay with minimalistic bikini tops? Now, you guys know me. I'm okay with it all. Show it all. But if you watch last night's Fantasy Suite, Gabby had some sort of kimono on the morning after, and they blurred out see-through nipples. But it's like, I don't know, do you guys not remember watching Friends? Jennifer Aniston, you could always see her nipples. It wasn't a big deal. I almost wonder, are we going into a direction where we're becoming more conservative? I don't mean politically, I mean with what we're allowing people to share on the screen. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with butt cracks and cellulite. We all have them. You know what I mean? That should be, I'm starting a new podcast. It's called Butt Cracks and Cellulite. We all have them. Anyway, so that's your trailer for tonight. They didn't leave much meat on the bone. And here we've got, we have one more clip. Let's watch.
Eric was telling me how hard it is for him because this week felt like cheating to him. In Fantasy Suites, when it was just him and I, we had the same exact conversation. My first gut reaction was, why are we rehashing this now?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That happened. I just know you guys shared a lot of really special moments together.
Oh, I don't want to cry. This whole time it has been really hard. Eric and I, we've always struggled with this miscommunication, but I think we're also very different people. I'm mad at him because I still had my overnight date with Jason. I felt like I was being pressured. So I'm like, this is it,
It's not easy, so you can see how you could feel that way.
I have to be honest with myself, and if it's my decision to be with Eric, it's mine. And if it's my decision to be with Jason, like, I want this to be my decision.
Coming up tonight on The Bachelorette.
Last night,
All right, so
Eric was-
look, all right, who knows what was said, who knows what was edited, but she said, I feel like I'm being pressured. And it's like, imagine if my fiance was heading out to hang out with her girlfriends, and I'm like, and don't forget, no sleeping with other men. And she'd be like, I feel like I'm being pressured. All Eric did. All he did. And we'll always take the counter side to whatever we see here. We're kind of always playing devil's advocate. All he did was share his emotions and said, I got crazy amounts of anxiety thinking I'm falling in love with you and you're going on dates with other guys during fantasy suites, Like, that's all he did. He shared his feelings. And now she's saying she's feeling pressured. And we see this every year, right? We see guys like Luke P. who define what they're okay and not okay with. And people go, well, why did you sign up for the show? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In the end, you can know all the rules of the show and still not be able to turn off the thing that says this isn't right with me. And it's not just someone who's jealous, who's like, oh, you're talking to another man. It's a very intimate thing. So you can pretend to be cool with it, but this is the only thing that makes the show still relevant. The only thing. Because nothing about this show makes sense, right? But the only thing that makes this show still relevant is that the hypothetical of marrying someone who just boinked somebody else 2 days before. It's regardless of gender, it's something we always talk about because look, hey, and it's not to slut shame people. It's just the hypothetical. So people in the comment sections have kind of said the same thing. I'm just curious, says Kaylee. These are our comment sections here. Who in real life is actually okay with their partner on a I love you and I'm ready to be engaged in a few days level, sleeping with other people? I've seen people like Madison and Eric, even the guy who left on one of the first episodes of the season for not being okay with that, get blasted for setting their boundaries. I'm actually curious of the viewpoints of those who are okay with it and why. It's almost like this. You ever watch Shark Tank? This is like a good Shark Tank reference. On Shark Tank, the guys will promote, the guy shows up and he promotes his product, and then you have the investors will go like, all right, for $100,000, I'd like 20% of your company. And then the person might think about it and go, well, let me see what other offers are out there. And they go, take the deal or leave it. Do you want to work with me or not? And it's kind of that way on the fantasy suite. It's like, look, I know you get to bump your Harrisons with 3 different people. You can pump your Palmers, sling your Bing and your little ding, whatever. You can throw your Hannah Brown in the old Pound Town, whatever. You can do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, it might be irreparable harm to the relationship that's worth having. So if Gabby knows Eric's the guy, and we don't know if she does, but if she knows he's the guy, then it's done. Print the check, sign the bill, tip your wait staff. It's done. But what may have happened, which we don't know because we don't get to watch the fantasy suites, which I think, like I've said, if we could just get some pay-per-view, just to see, whatever. But if what we don't know is whether or not Gabby might have said, hey, Eric, you're the one. I got to go on this date. You're the one. So just chill out and ride it out, because that might be the case. But it also might be the case that Eric goes, I want to talk to you. And the producers are like, well, you got to share your emotions. We need to drum up as much drama as possible. We don't know. Aaron says, I can't blame him for how he's feeling. Gabby didn't give him anything besides the just trust me line. Gabby was a little dramatic in that scene. It'll be interesting to see what happens tonight after that convo. I think Gabby and Rachel are doing a better job than Clayton. But I think it's not that much better and I'm not saying they owe Clayton an apology, but I think if they all had a conversation, I just think if they had an honest conversation, Rachel and Gabby might look at Clayton and go, you know what? I kind of get it now. I kind of get it. You were wrong. You shouldn't have told us you loved us, but I get how real it can get. So some people said, look, like the Bachelor subreddit said, look, Clayton didn't simply hand out I love yous like Oprah did, nor did he simply sleep with both of them. So he did more than that, they're saying. He told them in front of each other, all these different types of things. And then other people have said, no. It's completely hypocritical. He was held to this crazy level that Gabby and Rachel aren't being held to. And, the truth is probably somewhere in between. Someone said I was also really surprised because what we're talking about here also, not just Gabby, but with Rachel, she told Avon, like, I'm falling for you. Don't forget about me. And then she said, I love you to the other guy. It's like, well, I mean, sure, like she didn't say I love you in that order to Avon, but she certainly made it feel like hang in there. And that's kind of what you're supposed to do. Someone said, I was really surprised. I didn't understand her at all. She made a big deal, Rachel, made a big deal about how she didn't want to do what Clayton did. And then she talks to Avon about how important these words are. And then she tells him she's falling in love with him and he shouldn't forget it. When also telling Tino she loves him. I hope she really does gain some insight about Clayton and herself because they are very similar. I feel terrible for Avon since my guess is she sticks with Tino. Unspoiled, we don't know that, but she said, I love you. She said more to Tino's the front runner. Likely, she said, I love you to Tino. Likely, Avon will handle it like a champ. I have compassion for Rachel in this situation. It's hard, but really did seem like she was planning to work harder to avoid doing this. Falling in love is so different than I love you on this show. And then the person responds, it is, but I feel like she made it more important with her intro about how important these words are before she said them, and then telling him not to forget that she's falling in love with him when they said goodbye. Both of those feelings would lead me to believe she is picking me if I'm Avon. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to have to see how this all plays out. By the way, Steph in the comment section said, whoop, 4 more Patreons. We can do this. Signs up boyfriend in his sleep. Yeah, all you got to do is, if your boyfriend's got one of those cell phones that's thumb, when he's sleeping, just put his thumb on the thing that buys stuff and just buy Patreon. That's all you got to do. Is it fraudulent? I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, if you get me 4 more, if you get us to 300, we'll go live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. East Coast, 1 hour before tonight's episode. Otherwise, we'll just enjoy the episode tonight. We'll have more content for you tomorrow. Patreon.com/Dave Neal. See you guys in a little bit. Bye, everyone.